Hi, everybody. We are live with Janet J here from The Mummy and the Monkey. I am so excited. I've been wanting to have her on for a long, long time. Um,
Yay!
yeah, and she's my second interviewee, and really, this is going to be kind of an interview, but I really want us more, chat style. One of the reasons I wanted to have her on is because she is a horror hostess. I love horror movies. I love spooky things in general, and I thought it would be so much fun to just have her on and just chat. So, if you want to, you can introduce yourself however you'd like.
Okay. Hi guys, my name is Janet. Hello out there in YouTube land. I'm part of a show called The Mummy and the Monkeys Harry's Scary Hangout. We've been broadcasting on Facebook Live for a little over 2 years with my husband and Monkey Man co-host Grim Gory. We dress in character, we host cheesy B movies, but we also love reselling. We both have our own eBay stores. I used to have a brick and mortar store. And yeah, when we do anything with YouTube or social media, it combines our love of thrifting, cheesy B movies, and cats.
Yes. And
Yeah.
I love the stuff that they pick up. We're gonna get into it quite a bit because they find like some really cool, like spooky stuff. And yes, definitely sub to the Mummy and the Monkey. They're great, and they also have. I mean, you mentioned your Facebook show on Fridays.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so that's on at I believe 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, it's on 10 p.m. Eastern on most Friday nights, but then we also have what we call the Harry Scary Hangover on our YouTube
Yes.
channel, where we talk about horror films, Halloween. People ask us random things. We end up talking about like um, nostalgia, restaurants, food, whatever comes up at like 1 in the morning. So,
And that's a lot of fun because they go from you guys just have so much energy and so much to talk about. I mean, it's both of you guys, and your husband's great as well, and he's funny. He likes to make jokes. But you guys just go from one thing to another just really quickly, and it's just nonstop. So it's only like maybe 30 minutes an hour, but it goes by very fast.
yeah, usually 30 minutes to an hour, as long as we can stay awake to do the after party show. And yeah, our YouTube channel is The Mummy and the Monkey, and there is a playlist called Monster Hustle where we talk about eBay stuff and behind the scenes. And then James started a spin-off YouTube channel called New World Hoarder, um,
Yes.
talking about his scavenging adventures, whatever little videos he creates. So
Yeah.
that's brand new. I think he just has a couple videos on there.
He's kind of more into like the I mean, I think you both are, but he likes the dumpster diving. Like he likes to get really dirty, doesn't he?
Yes, yeah, he loves to go dumpster diving, trash picking, and that stuff is cool, but um sometimes it grosses me out.
um, I'm gonna say hello to some people that are kind of early. I think we'll probably get people in as we go. But yeah, I just want to say hello, Krillin. Hey, Harry Humstone. Hello, Crazy Doxy Lady. And of course, Gimbal. Gimbal is always there on my lives. So thank you for that. But yeah, and I'm just so excited to talk to a girl, another lady reseller who just
Yay.
loves this kind of stuff. And the way I found you guys is I found you guys through Golden Finger Picker. He had done a shout out for you guys, and I was like, "Oh, they're horror hosts. That's kind of not weird in a bad way, but that's like kind of offbeat. That's like the stuff that I like." So I went to go check you out, and I've been watching you guys ever since. And
Aw.
like I feel it's kind of like one of those things where like you feel like you know them, but you don't, and like you don't want to be weird, but like I was just so excited to meet you. Um,
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and
yeah,
the horror host genre, it's a very niche thing. Not everyone likes those classic horror films or like monster movies, but We do, and it's just one of those goofy things for people that like Halloween year round. They might dig our show.
So I found, speaking of Halloween year round, I found this. She was a like a haunted house reject. I don't know
Oh.
why they rejected her, but um,
Oh.
her face is a little caved in on this side, but it's still, and she's got like crazy hair. And I think they put her in like a child or baby doll's like Batman
Oh,
kind of
that's
dress,
cool.
and very like she has like just this beautiful smile, you know. But yeah, so like, until she actually sells, which I need to list her, I'm going to just keep her in the kitchen, like where I am now. Just have her in a chair, you know, creep people out.
She's your employee of the month now.
That's right, and you know, I feel like she cheers the place up. Honestly, like just a beautiful smile.
You might be able to fix the side, and then if you see any markings like on the back or on the neck, yeah, definitely look that up.
Okay, I did look at that because you know, like masks and stuff, they usually have the. It's almost like a mask-like rubber material, and there's. I don't think that's a mark. You can't even see it on camera, but I didn't see anything, so that's a little disappointing. And I think her head has come off from the doll
Oh,
body here, but I think someone will really want her, and I think people will pay up for a face that's beautiful. You know.
yeah, I agree. It seems like Halloween and Christmas sell year round. There's always
Yes.
like that fanatic person that will look up that stuff and buy it, and especially vintage Halloween, vintage Christmas, and stuff like that, like the weird haunted house props and things that you don't normally see at like a Walmart or something.
Right. Um, yeah, so vintage Halloween, it's one of my favorite things to pick up, probably yours too. And
Yeah.
vintage Christmas, there's just so much of it that I'm kind of like pick and choose if something's really cool, but vintage Halloween, just pick all of it up, you know.
Buy all the Halloween. Solo Halloween.
Right.
There you go.
Okay, let's see. So reselling, can you I've heard y'all's story before, and I know you're tired of giving it, but can you just give a brief like rundown of how you got into reselling?
Yeah, okay. Let's see. How should I well, I worked in retail for a really long time. I was a retail manager for 10 years and then worked for some automotive dealerships, customer service, that sort of thing.
Right.
And I felt like I really wanted to get out of there and try to do my own thing. And randomly on YouTube, I found this was like 2016. I found videos of some ladies going to yard sales, and I thought, oh, that's really cool. Like
Mhm.
I never thought to like film video at a yard sale, and found Craigslist Hunter, Golden Finger Picker, Ronnie Hart, all those like old school resellers.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that's really cool. I should give this a try because I was a big fan of eBay anyway. I would go shopping on there. I was a big collector. I still collect some things, but I've been heck reselling on eBay now for 3 years full time. And then I sell a little bit on Poshmark and Mercari. And I did open up my own brick and mortar shop in early 2017, and it was in
Yeah,
Lakewood, Ohio.
and we'll get into that because that story is so fascinating. We'll get into it. Okay. What are your favorite? I don't know. We kind of talked about this a minute ago, but what are your favorite spooky finds? Because I have seen you guys like have a like a wasn't it a painting of a nun?
Yeah, so it ended up not selling. I think we ended up giving it away to someone that was into that stuff because I had it in the store for a couple of years and no one wanted it. It was a painting of a nun from the movie The Conjuring, and a friend of a friend brought it in. They worked with this guy who was like this angry guy in his 60s who just did all these cool like horror themed paintings. He did like a Freddy Krueger painting, a Jason, all these different characters. We had about 5 or 6 of them, and they all sold. except for this nun painting, and he said that that painting was cursed, and he was in a bad mood when he painted it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, sure, it's cursed. I had it hanging on the wall, and and I had other friends in the store to witness this. The painting flew off the wall, like on its own, and it did that multiple times, knocking things over. And I would get mad and yell at it and swear at it. It didn't really bother me too much. I would just kind of get mad at the painting. But some people like that would visit were really creeped out by it.
Yeah. And you sold that locally, didn't you?
Yeah, I gave it away to someone locally because I had it. Yeah, because no one bought it after a couple of years, and I was at the time getting ready to close the store and get stuff out of there.
Yeah. Any other spooky finds besides that, or like just anything you found? I mean, yeah,
so many.
So many. Anything?
Some haunted dolls. So we love going to like our local flea market, and in the past we've found there were flea market vendors that claimed that a handful of vintage dolls were haunted. They would have one or two out on display, and they would have a sign posted saying, warning, haunted doll. And the story is, and again, it's a good story. I don't know how true it is. The flea market vendor told me that he did a clean out of a house, and in the attic of the house, there was a pentagram, and each doll was at each point of the pentagram. And he would put out like one or two dolls at a time.
Haunted door in the background.
What's that? Oh, thank you. That's my husband bringing me this guy. I've got a story about this guy too. But yeah, we sold the haunted dolls to some paranormal investigators.
Through eBay, or?
It wasn't through eBay. It was actually just through Facebook and PayPal, where I shipped it out to them. Okay. They sold so quick they didn't even make it to eBay.
Right. And a lot of people, they really want I think you know what I'm talking about, the provenance of something. Like they want to know the story behind things like that. What exactly happened? How do you know it's haunted? Yeah. I have never come across, like, some people will make up stories. I don't think I would do that, but if something happened, I think I would definitely put it in the description. Like, I don't know that this doll is haunted. It probably isn't, but I will put the provenance of it, like in the eBay in the eBay description, and somebody might just want it because it was a haunted house reject. Always put, if it has a weird story, always put it in the eBay description or however you're selling it. But no, that's definitely very cool. And what's up with the skull?
So I don't remember his name right now, but this was given to me by our friend Joe, who's part of the Cleveland Star Trek group. He found this in his house. It was in the attic, and he said it was there in the Uric. Thank you. My husband's yelling. James is yelling down the hall there. Yeah, this is Uric. He named him Uric, but this was found in an attic of a house, and it smells kind of like a little bit like a matchbook, and he's like made out of plaster. But Uric was given to us, and he's so cool, we decided to keep him. Some stuff we do end up keeping. And if you look, there's like this metal base, like he's hollow, like there's something in there. And then when you shake him, there's stuff that's in there, and we don't know if it's ashes. Like, we're not sure why that was put there, because this is heavy on its own. It doesn't really need like a weight in there.
So is it like a solid plaster, you said, or like
it's plaster, but I think there's a little hollow part here.
Right.
And there's something in there rattling, but I'm not going to open that. that wouldn't be a good idea. I'm just going to leave Uric be, and he's actually on our set when we host our show, The Mummy and the Monkeys.
Oh, okay, yeah, and I believe I remember when y'all found them, but like y'all have so many things sometimes. Like your hauls are huge, and it's always like cool. It's always cool stuff. So what about trash finds? Like, what are your favorite trash finds in general? Like you found on the curb?
My
Anything in general?
favorite. Well, recently I found a vintage figurine. It was by Mark's Toys. Well, actually, we found it in the trash back in April, but it was in the garage for a while. And just yesterday, we were out in the garage, and I'm like, I should clean that up and look it up and see if I could sell it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they go for about $35. They go for more. This was a Native American figure, and I think she was called Princess Wildflower. So it was a vintage toy from the 60s,
Okay.
and
So,
like the size of a Barbie doll. And
right.
so I did put her up for $38, so we'll see if she sells. But
So
so far, I think that's like one of my favorites because I like finding the retro toys.
you love the dolls.
I do.
Yeah.
I like the creepy dolls.
Right. You sold a doll for quite a bit. Like, wasn't it like $600 or something? Like a Hawaiian?
$760. Yeah,
There you
that was made by a company called Ideal, and she was a Tammy doll. And the if they're like African American or Hawaiian or like a different ethnicity, like I guess they didn't make as many, and they go for a lot more. And it depends like how their eyes are painted, how they're
right.
styled, I guess from back in the day.
Someone has mentioned the Land of Confusion show is mentioning that it could be a Dybbuk school,
Dybbuk
Dybux.
Dybbuk's box. Huh.
Yeah. Do you think it's containing any spirits? We don't know.
See, I've had a few like Land of Confusion. They're not the only one. We've had a few other people tell us that it could be a
Really?
Dybbuk. Yeah. I'm not gonna open it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let that if there's something in there, I'm gonna let them rest and let them chill. So
I remember on Ghost Adventures, I think that's where I heard that from, is Dybbuk's box, and like a rabbi had to like bless it or something. I think that's where I heard that from. But that's really interesting. Yeah, let's just not open it. I mean, even if it's just like disgusting stuff in there, we'll just leave it alone.
yeah. That's like the start of a bad horror film. If I were to open that, that's
Yeah, I mean,
like the girl running up the stairs or answering the phone. You
yeah,
don't.
right. Like we're good now with it closed, but if it's open, we don't know. So, yeah. Let's see. Okay, we know. Okay, what are your favorite things to find? We know like dolls. We know toys. You do a lot of like purses. Anything in like anything niche that you really like to find?
Um, I would say the vintage toys, shoes and bags. I like to find too if it's a certain brand. Like there's some Coach bags that do well. Hammett, that is a new brand I learned. They're made in Los Angeles. They're nice leather bags similar to Coach and brand new handmade. These bags are like 500, $600. So if you find them like secondhand, Hammett, Hammitt.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a good one. Um, there's another one, and I can't think of the name of it right now. Darn it! But
That's okay.
pretty much anything that's like if it says made in Italy, made in France, made in the USA, it's definitely worth looking up. And that's usually how I find some of these brands. And if the fabric feels nice, if it's real leather, if it's snakeskin, suede, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's a general, just a good rule in general to follow. Like if it says like if it's not made in China, just especially made in Europe, like just look it up. Well, why not? Okay, so resellers have usually a reseller has a white whale, and I think you know what that means, but just explain it. It's like your thing that you might not ever find, but you're always on the look for it, and you hope that you'll find it one day. So, do you have any in general? Or?
I do. Chanel. I would love to find Chanel at a thrift store. I
Like
have
vintage
not.
Chanel or?
any Chanel pieces in general, shoes, bags, sunglasses. I like that brand, but it's way way out of my price range at the moment. But yeah, if you can find them at a thrift store, yard sale, that would be awesome. So that's like that one, I wish to find it one day.
Yeah. See, if I found Chanel, I would be like, how do I know this is not? I know there's ways you can find out it's not fake, but I would just be afraid of it. When I see high end brands, like I just steer clear. Even Kate Spade. Like I recently found out how to differentiate the difference between real and fake Kate Spade and what is outlet brand or whatever. But and that was kind of fun, but I don't think I would like doing it for all these high-end brands. It's just too much, and I don't. And sometimes it will be real, and people will get it, and they'll say it's not real. I just don't want the headache. So
Yeah, it can be tough with all the knockoffs that are out there. But again, like if the fabric feels nice, if the stitching's nice, and if the price is nice, sometimes it's like I'll take a gamble on it and go with my gut. And sometimes as a reseller, after a while, you don't look it up. You're like, this looks really nice. I'm gonna go with my gut, and then double check it and see if I was right.
yeah, I think it was you maybe who had like a Tokidoki bag, like one of the oh man, I can't think of what it is now. Like the La something bag was sport. Did did you ever have one of those sport
Mm,
Tokidoki bags?
I think I may have sold a Tokidoki bag before. The Tokidoki watches, I sold a ton of those on
Oh,
Poshmark.
that's what I'm thinking of.
I
Yeah.
I found those at a discount store that's in Northeast Ohio, and bought pretty much all the watches they had. They were $1.99 a piece, and I was selling them for like 15, $20 a piece on Poshmark. And I had a few listed on eBay, and they just sat. And eBay I sell the most on, but with certain trendy girly things, I'll throw them on Poshmark and give it a try. So yeah, Tokidoki's cool. I like the cute cartoony design, and it's a good brand. A lot of people like it.
Um, yeah, so it's very, very cute. And so I bought a Tokidoki purse from Goodwill. This is like months back. And then I took it home. It was a sport sack, Toki, with Tokidoki. And I took it home and had like the little figure on the side, like the little key fob. And
Hmm.
just, it was one of those fakes that just looked too good, but not quite right. And like the fabric didn't look right. And so I finally, I gave up and I asked a group, I was like, is this real? And they're like, no. And then after that, I looked at it, I'm like, oh, this is like obvious fake or whatever. So anyway, I threw it
Oh,
away. I think those are worth quite a bit if you can find them real.
yeah.
Okay. Um,
What about you? So you asked me like what item I would love to find when
oh,
going out hunting. Do you have something that you would absolutely love to find that you haven't yet?
so I think I only know about this because another reseller found it. So they found a Lisa Frank vintage beach towel, and I mean it's worth over 100. It's not even worth like hundreds of dollars, but it's worth
Hmm.
over 100. And I was like, oh man, if I could find one that's like for right now, that's my white whale. There's stuff that you can make so much more money on, but that is my focus. That is, and otherwise, it's like I guess vintage Halloween stuff. Like those little paper mache lanterns. I don't know if you've seen those before.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that
Yes.
those are awesome.
Actually, me and Harry Humstone, who was here, we were talking about that, and he was saying like the flat ones are fake, and I kind of want to, just in case I find them, I want to make sure that I know the difference between real or not. Um, and I guess blow molds, which I'm kind of mad at myself because last year, like right around Thanksgiving, I just randomly went to Goodwill. I found a Santa Claus blow mold that was like 36 inches, so like a tall one.
Hmm.
And I I was like, at the time, I still have a very small house. My house is like 800 square feet. My last apartment was 640 square feet. And
Wow.
so, yeah, so I just didn't have a place to, he was like in my living room, and I just didn't want him sitting. So I put him on Facebook Marketplace for $40. And I mean, of course,
Oh.
like he sold immediately, but I'm like, I probably could have sold him for $80, probably just as quick. Or if I
Mhm.
just was willing to hang on to him for, I mean, it was around Christmas time, or I mean, it was Thanksgiving, but so I love finding the blow molds. I don't find them very often anymore. And it's also like one of those big things in resellings, like don't pass those up. Everybody knows
Yeah.
about it now. So,
Which bums me out because I remember like 4, 5, 6 years ago going into any thrift store here where I live, and the blow molds were like 199, $2, and you were able to find them, and I would buy a few here and there, but I thought, oh, I'm good, I already bought some, and some stuff I would leave there, and now you can't find them anymore,
yeah.
and now everyone knows.
The only ones I do still find are just like the little the trick or treat pails or whatever.
Mhm.
But I mean, those will sell, but not
Not
for
for,
very. Yeah, they're
yeah,
so common, and they're still making them. I think. Yeah, there
they
several.
They
But
do, like, Walmart and Target will sell them around Halloween time, but I think they're made in Mexico now. And for the longest time, I think they were made in Virginia. General Foam, or
yes,
General Plastic. Yeah.
yeah. And for those of you who don't know, there's like the best website for blow molds. Like it will drill down. It will tell you exactly who made it. Usually what year. Some of them they're kind of unsure. But yeah, I'll put a link down to that once we're done. It's so good. Um,
Cool.
yeah. So I know like conventions are kind of done. It's really sad. I miss going to conventions. Um, what would you, barring COVID-19, what would you like to do in the future? Like, any plans?
I would love to, and I was talking about this to James, maybe about a year ago, telling him how cool it would be to go to Monster Palooza. That's a convention out in California that I hear is really cool. So um, when the whole COVID thing, when now that's done and people are getting better, yeah, I mean, we would love to travel and check out some conventions out west.
Yeah,
We're in Cleveland, Ohio. Someone was asking where we were from. So there's a lot of great conventions here in the Midwest. But yeah, I'd like to travel more in the future.
yes. I was just on my last live stream. I was just complaining loudly that I miss traveling so much because I don't know if you knew, but I was supposed to go to Japan this year, and in
Oh,
late March, like on a couple days before my birthday. And so on my birthday, we would have been in like Disneyland and all that. And last year we didn't really do anything because we were going to Japan. We were like saving money, and then like last minute we thought we were going to get to go, and our flights were canceled, so we got new flights, and now they just got refunded. So I'm just mad at
wow.
myself for not traveling more because now I'm like, oh my god, I want to go here, 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 and you can't do anything. So
Yeah, it's wow. Yeah, Japan is like one of those places I'd love to visit. That's on my bucket list. But
yeah,
yeah, I hear it's super expensive and a lot of, yeah, ton of flying.
there's just a lot of planning goes into a trip like that. So
Mhm.
you do all this planning, and then like basically less than a month before, it's like you're not going anywhere for a while.
Aw.
um, so what about? I know you've done some acting.
Mhm.
Do you really enjoy that, or do you have any
I
plans?
Oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. I'm sorry. Do you have any plans for doing that more? Or?
There's an indie filmmaker that did email me recently about being part of a film project where he's doing like a quarantine movie where the actors send in video snippets and he's going to edit it together. So I think it's cool that people are still contacting me every now and then to do that. Last year I was in it's like part documentary, kind of like a mockumentary, a group called Small Town Monsters. I was in a few scenes for Momo, the Missouri Monster, and that's available on Amazon. And it takes place in the 70s, and it has to do with this almost like a Bigfoot type of creature that was seen in Missouri in the 70s. And they interview some of the people that lived in the area at that time, and it's neat. But yeah, I've been in some B movies here and there over the years as like a side gig, just because I enjoy it so much.
Right. It's a lot of fun. And conventions that are your favorite ones, like the ones are, I'm sure around Cleveland, are
Yeah,
friends and stuff.
Cinema Wasteland is a lot of fun. Ghoulartifest, that was canceled. But yeah, a lot of the events are canceled. They did have a convention out in Indianapolis, but we're sitting out conventions this year.
Yeah.
Just to play it safe.
Just too risky. There's just too many people in one. I mean, it's a large area generally, but it's just too many people. And what are you gonna do? Like, say only instead of, I'm just putting out a number, instead of 1,000 people, only 400 people can come, and then you can't make money off of that.
Right, and then we dress in our characters for these shows, so. I mean, you're gonna dress in your character and then have a mask over it, and people like to hug and high five, and they want a picture with you, and you're shaking hands all weekend. So you can't really do that with a pandemic. So, but that's okay. We're here virtually, and we got to get through this so we can have some better days.
Right. Yeah, I haven't been to a convention in so long. We don't really have great ones around here. We have small ones. Like there's one in Lafayette. For some reason, Baton Rouge just doesn't really do much with them. But there's a bigger Wizard World, which I don't know what your opinion is on Wizard World, but it's yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not. Even though I enjoy Wizard World, I enjoy going to those. I prefer some of the smaller shows where you have more interaction with the guests and the fans.
Right. Yeah, and my first Wizard World, this was, I don't even know what year it was. I'm just going to say 2014 or so. It felt small. Like there was like some small groups getting together, and it was a lot of fun. And then I went, I think the next year with my husband, and it was like totally different. It was just a very like corporate feel, and if that's how it's going to be, then like what's the point? So I wish there was more like horror stuff, or more like niche groups. A lot of people go to Houston for conventions, or I think there's one in Atlanta, like MegaCon, those kind of things. But around here, you've got to travel here to go to anything decent, unfortunately. Yeah. There was a horror one that Tim Curry went to in Houston like a few years ago, and I was like, oh, that would be really cool. But it's like you got to put together, like a travel plan, and I don't know. I should have done it, but yeah. So
there is Texas Frightmare Weekend. I heard that one was good, but we haven't visited it yet. So maybe that's another one we'll have to visit one day.
Yeah. That sounds like I'd rather go to like a horror themed one rather than, because Wizard World is a lot of CW characters and like superhero stuff, and there's nothing there that's for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I love stuff that has niche audience or like nerdy stuff, but a lot of that stuff is so mainstream because I guess they're trying to bring in as many people to make money, and
Yeah.
it's just a two-edged sword, I guess. You want to make money, so you get in like big people. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say there.
I understand. It's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we like some of the superhero stuff too. We like comic books too. But yeah, some of it as well, a lot of the fandom has gotten very mainstream, and in my opinion, the autographs, the ticket prices, the whole expense of going has like gone through the roof anyway. So
Yes.
um I know like the most I ever spent on an autograph was $60. It was to meet Robert Englund, to meet Freddy Krueger.
Oh,
And
yes.
and
Go ahead.
he was super nice in person, well worth it. But now I'm hearing his latest appearances he was charging like 100 or more. And I'm thinking, no way. I like you, but I don't want to go broke. you
No.
know.
And that's probably what we paid for Elvira. Because the last time we were at Wizard World, we paid for Elvira, and such a super sweet lady. I'm sure she was tired. I mean, I can't imagine like sitting there for hours and talking to people, talking to strangers all day who are like, I love you, I love you. Like that's got to be tiresome, you know? And then we get up there and we're like, we love you. But she was super sweet. Like nothing bad to say about her. And I kept telling her that she was funny, and she was like, "Thank you, thank you." So yeah, she seemed pretty humble, but I don't know her other than that. But I'm glad I got her autograph for sure. Robert Englund did come, like I think in the last few years, but it's like, do you want to go to this convention just for like one thing, you know?
hmm
Um, yeah. So okay, I think Atlanta Confusion is saying they were lucky to get Evil Dead signed by the whole cast. That's going to be worth some money. I don't know which Evil Dead. I don't know if that's the first one you're talking about or, um,
That's
yeah, but
awesome.
yeah.
At Cinema Wasteland, I don't remember what year it was, but they had all the ladies from the Evil Dead, all the actresses that were like Ash's girlfriend or friend.
Oh, fun.
Um, so that was really cool. And they have Tom Sullivan there, who actually created the Book of the Dead and the special effects for the first two Evil Dead movies. And he's super nice in person, and his autograph isn't $100. He sells art prints, for a good price, and just nice to talk to.
Right. Who are the like biggest people that have come to Cinema Wasteland?
Um, Probably John Saxon, and he passed away recently. Probably John Saxon and Jim Kelly from Enter the Dragon, and
Okay.
they signed a DVD for me, and
Yeah.
got to meet him about I think it was almost 10 years ago.
Wow. That sounds like a really cool convention where like you basically go and you see all these people that you not only friends, but you see them like maybe once a year, and it sounds like a better, just small gathering. That's your favorite one, right? Yeah,
It's one of my favorites. That and Ghoulartifest.
Ghoulartifest, right?
The smaller shows have more of like a family reunion type of feel, where you can see
Yes,
like your friends. It's like the same people coming back. They have different guests, but the guests, you can actually walk up and say hi to them. It's not like Wizard World where everything's very structured and you're waiting in line for 5 hours.
right.
Um, it's more like personable, in my
They're kind of
opinion.
happier to see you, happier to meet you, and all that.
hmm
And Ghoulartifest. Um, that sounds. It's just kind of crazy that this whole festival came about because of this one horror host. Like that sounds just like
It's
nothing that would happen here.
it's yeah, so Ghoulardi was the first popular horror film host in Cleveland, Ohio, and he was only on TV from 1963 to 1966. His real name is Ernie Anderson, and he later on became the voice for ABC, and he was the voice for the Love Boat, that voiceover, you know.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, he went to Hollywood and made it big as a voiceover actor. But Ghoulardi was huge here in Cleveland, and had a really good history later on, like in the 70s, there was Ron Swede. He kind of took over as the Ghoul. And then Big Chuck and Houlihan and Big Chuck and Little John, they hosted movies for many, many years. And they actually started Ghoulartifest in the 90s after Ernie Anderson passed away. And it's sad to see it canceled this year, but we hope everything will be good for next year and we can see everybody again.
Yeah, definitely. I hope it happens for you guys next year because it's just so long. I mean, it's only a year. Well, hopefully only a year, but it feels so long, you know, and like you have all these plans and it's like your life just stopped for a year. Harry Humstone is asking if you ever went to one of these places dressed as your character, and she does. That's
yeah. We dress in character. So yeah, Grimgory, my Monkey Man co-host, he will be the Monkey Man. He'll be wearing that outfit for like 12 hours. He's a trooper. And people always tell him, "Aren't you hot in that mask?" But he loves it because it's what we do. It's our characters. It's like an endurance run, and I've got the contact lens and the whole get up, and you know, we're wearing that all day, and by the end of the day you're like but it's fun.
Yeah, I bet it is. So once I went to Comic-Con dressed up as a character from the Venture Brothers, and all day long people kept coming up to me asking for photos. And this wasn't even a great costume. Like, I made it myself, and I am not a costume maker. Like, it was held together with hopes and dreams. And people still loved it. And I mean, it was so bad. Like, I would just be looking through, you know, boxes of stuff, you know, looking at merchandise, and people would come up to me and like, "Can I get it?" And I mean, I was never annoyed or anything, but I really couldn't look at as much stuff as I wished I could. Do you ever go maybe in costume and then go another day not in costume so you can just be an average person just looking at stuff? Or
usually Sunday is when we're a little more casual, where I'll just like kind of half wear the costume and maybe wear some normal clothes. But yeah, I mean, most of these conventions we're in character all 3 days. We have talked about that, like maybe it'd be cool to go to a show just for one day and be kind of incognito and blend in just so you could shop. But so far it hasn't worked for us. Yeah, we always get stopped for pictures, but we love it.
And it's probably so much fun to do that. Like, I did not even expect to have people wanting pictures with me, but it happened all day long, and I'm like, I wish I had a day where I was just like not in costume. I could just like look. But
which character were you?
Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch. So she has like a yellow costume, and I made it by hand.
Dr. Girlfriend?
Yes, but like as
nice.
So yeah. It's 15 minutes still, so I want to quickly get into like the scary movies that, I mean, you're a horror hostess with your husband, and what horror movies did you maybe grow up on, or do you really love the best favorite ones?
It's hard to pick a favorite, because when you think you have a couple favorites, then you find a few more that end up being your favorite. So like 70s, like the grindhouse, like the gory movies, I'd probably have to say like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Tourist Trap. But like classic, like Universal horror films, I'm gonna have to say The Mummy, the Boris Karloff The Mummy. But in almost any, like whether it's classic horror or the new movies, like the independent films, or like the 70s stuff or 80s slashers, I can find a couple that I can pick favorites. So it's hard to, it's really hard to answer that.
Okay. I mean, I love horror movies from all genres. I kind of tend to stay away from like the real hard slasher, not because it's scary, but if it's just like Saw, where it's just like blood everywhere the entire movie. It's kind of boring, I guess. But I always loved the Sleepaway Camp series, and that
Oh,
was like my
yeah.
favorite. Yeah. But I always loved those just crappy B movies that you would only find at your local rental store or whatever. So
Right, like some blood and guts in movies I like. I don't like it if it's just that. I like if it has a cool story to go with it. And then
mhm.
so I'm less grossed out, I'll look up like behind the scenes stuff to see how they did the effects. So then it's not like um it makes it less, I guess, less scary if you know how they made the movie or how they did a certain special effect, or it's fake blood or chocolate syrup or whatever.
Right.
Um but yeah, there's a certain charm to those cheesy B movies like Plan 9 from Outer Space, Manos, The Hands of Fate. Um, gosh, there's so many too.
I know. I mean, you could go all day. I really love MST3K, as I'm sure you guys do, and any of those movies is good for a laugh. But are there any like maybe newer? Because what I think is kind of we're entering like this horror movie renaissance where like people are saying horror movies can be good, because for so
Mhm.
long, even especially in like the early 2000s, they were like these crappy teen movies. But lately, we've been seeing like kind of better movies like The Witch or Hereditary. Sorry. Um, are you fans of those or any newer horror? Or
Those I have not seen yet, but the movie Get Out, Jordan
yes,
Peele's Get Out was amazing.
so good.
So amazing, and I love that movie. And then Us, I liked it. I didn't think it was as good, but it was still really likable. It reminded me of like the Twilight Zone or something. It had horror with sci-fi kind of mixed.
Yeah,
um and I love that there were some, like in Get Out, they didn't do those movie cliches where you yell at the girl for running up the stairs or answering the door. Like they had characters that were actually smart and you know trying
right.
to trying to do the right thing and save the day.
Right. Yeah, I loved Us and Get Out. I saw Us in theaters, and it was I think movies are always more impressive to me when I see them in theaters. I will always like sometimes even if a movie is not that great, if I saw it in theaters, I would maybe say it was pretty good because it was entertaining on that level, But
Mhm.
I thought Us was I don't know. It's hard to say which one I liked better. I would say Us. I think I liked Us better. Um, well, cool. Let me look through some of these comments real quick. If
Sure.
anyone, let's see. Land of Confusion. You started Hellboy costume would be sounds kind of hard, honestly. Harry is saying The Exorcist and then The Conjuring. I love The Exorcist. I don't know about you, Janet.
The Exorcist is awesome, and that's actually, I think, one of James's favorite horror films.
Okay. We recently saw The Exorcist 3, which I had always heard like the sequels were terrible, so I never even bothered. But I
Mhm.
always loved The Exorcist. So we went and started watching it, and we got halfway through, and we had to do something. It wasn't the movie, it was something else. Like maybe we just had to go to bed. And, but I want to definitely finish it. Conjuring, I don't know. Everyone loves The Conjuring. And I'm like, that was okay.
Yeah, it's okay, but yeah, Exorcist is definitely up there. That's a classic. Just so creepy.
Yeah. I do like the one that's kind of like in the Conjuring story verse where it's like the little boy. Every time I'm on camera, I start not remembering stuff. It's a little boy, and they think the house is haunted, but when they move, it goes with them. Um,
Oh, that one I don't. Wasn't there a spin-off of it called The Nun? They did
yes.
one recently. Yeah, that one I haven't seen, but
Oh
I
man.
don't know about that other one.
Uh, Insidious. I
Oh,
love Insidious.
Insidious. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, and let's see. I like the movies where you never see the monsters or killers. Yes, that's a lot of fun too. Um, ladies, you need to go old school. Well, the reason I'm not really going, I'm not like, I mean, they do terrible movies every Friday night, and they're aware of stuff like Spider Baby. Is that what it's called?
Spider Baby. That was
Spider
actually
Baby.
one of, I think that was Sid Haig's first film.
Yes.
And that movie is incredible.
Love it.
Yeah, and we actually hosted it, I think a couple months back. It
Yeah.
was shortly after Sid's passing.
Yeah, and I mean, we could go all day naming old school.
There,
I love the
mhm,
old school. So does she.
yeah,
Um,
a lot of good old school movies. Yeah, and they're fun to host. We love it.
yeah. Watch The House Where Evil Dwells. I will look into that. I did. I interviewed RVA Flips, Justin from RVA
Oh,
Flips,
cool.
and we were talking about horror movies, and he suggested some, and I haven't even gotten to those. So I have to start. I mean, you can only watch so many movies. Are there any like movie review people that you like to listen to, or?
Well, we have some YouTube friends that actually, a couple years ago, Dino from Dino and Ted, the Late Late Horror Show on YouTube, they were the ones to suggest that we start hosting live shows, live
Hmm.
streaming, and we were new to it a couple years ago, and yeah, so they go in depth with movies. They do a lot of movie commentary, about like the classic Hammer horror films, 80s slashers, all different types of horror movies. That's like their thing, and they know every single actor who played in the movies. They go over every single detail,
Yeah.
more than what I could do. So kudos to the Late Late Horror Show. They're
Lately, you've mentioned them
mhm.
before. I'm going to check them out. I promise.
Yeah, they're
Um,
good. They're good reviewers.
good. I watch Red Letter Media a lot, and it's like maybe two or three guys. Well, it's like three usually, but one of the guys is really, really like very deep into horror movies, and everything he mentions I will watch because it's always good. But Red Letter Media is a really good one. Thank you, Cajun Reseller, for yeah. If you want to hit the like button, you can. I'm not forcing anyone, but that would be awesome. Um, but yeah, Red Letter Media. Yeah, I need to listen to more people that just talk about horror because it's my favorite genre. Um, So I guess it's like 7 minutes till 8, and I know you don't want to spend all night with me. I was wondering.
Oh, but I do. No, I'm just kidding. However long you want to chat, you tell me.
Okay, so we don't have to cut off at okay.
Yeah.
Um, so you had a brick and mortar store, and
Hmm.
I want to let everyone know if you go back to the Mummy and the Monkey, Janet goes in depth about talking about her brick and mortar store and why she opened it, why she was interested in doing that, and why she got out of it, and the problems she had during it, what she liked about it also. But do you have any? I didn't mean to say it all, put it all out there for you, but
No, it's fine.
yeah. Do you have anything you want to say about your store, or
Um,
you still miss it, or?
I miss seeing the regular people that would stop in. I miss that part of it. I miss using it as also a storage unit because now all of that stuff is in our house and in the garage. Um,
Right.
but yeah, there's parts of it sometimes that I miss, like setting up the window displays with mannequins and making it look real creepy. Um, but I don't miss paying the rent for it. I don't miss the landlord. I don't miss paying taxes for that city. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm doing better so far online. Just
I
selling from
imagine
home.
you are. Like
Yeah.
I the reason I'm kind of obsessed with that is because I think it would be so much fun myself to like open up something like that here, but I just don't think it would work. I think I would end up the same way. Because there would be people that would like that stuff and would probably
Mhm.
stop by. But the things that I would put in are probably like, what's the point, like, just so I could maybe have things available for the public to buy, just so I could have a store. I don't know. I don't think it would work here at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I would do that again unless if I actually owned the building and maybe like had one little part of it as a little like storefront or office and then maybe rented out the rest of it. Um, but I'm just not a fan of paying rent anymore after all that.
No.
But I know like some of the YouTube resellers, some of these other guys, they have storage units or they rent a little office. And if it works for them, that's awesome. Rock on. And especially if you're in a smaller space, if you're living in a smaller house or condo, yeah, it might work out for you that way to have it out of the house.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess whatever works best for you. But yeah, I'm happier right now just selling online, and I'm kind of, I don't know if it was a blessing in disguise because I moved everything out and the lease ended 2 months before the pandemic hit.
Right. And
So
I thought about you because I remember seeing that video where you moved out, and I'm like, oh my God, what would have happened? I mean, she's not getting customers every day as it is. She would have had to shut down. Hopefully, what I assume they would do is just not take rent from you. But I don't know if they would do that. I mean, you sound like you had a and you still have to pay, utilities on it and everything. So
mhm.
you got out of it at like the perfect time. Like it couldn't have been more perfect. But yeah, it sounds like fun to do. I would love to have like cute stuff in there, or like, stuff that I think that people would really like, even like clothes or like vintage clothes.
Mhm.
But I just don't know if there's a market for it. There is one in Baton Rouge, like a vintage store, and they're mostly about clothes. It's very high end. It's very like boutique like, and like I wish there was a place that was vintage but not so high end. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
but
Well,
not thrift store level.
so kind of in between the upscale boutique and the junky thrift store.
Right.
Kind of
Exactly.
a mid-range, yeah.
But I'm not sure. Baton Rouge would be a great market for that. New Orleans, maybe, but Baton Rouge, I don't know. But then you never know. Like, I mean, if you had not opened up that store, you would still be wondering if it would work, right?
Right. And at that point it was like something I really wanted to try, and you don't really know until you try it. Some people open stores and they're successful with it. This was not the case. I decided to do online only. So, and sometimes you have to, as a business owner or entrepreneur, you have to just admit, like, hey, this isn't working. I need to do something else.
Right.
And we have friends that own little shops and they're doing well, but they're holding their own. Like we know someone who has a little storefront, but they also use it as their office because they run estate sales and they do clean outs. So it kind of doubles as like the little hub where people can contact her. So
Right. Um, and with eBay, you have a global audience. I
hmm
know you sell internationally, right?
they're global shipping, but there's a new thing now that I want to look into called eBay Send, where I guess it's a lower rate. I'm not sure if you've used it.
I have. Um, yeah, it's great. I have had no problems. I don't use global shipping because I just do it myself. I've done it for the last 2 years, just shipping on my own. I do it through Pirate Ship, and you can get really good rates through Pirate Ship. And if you need to, you can also put insurance on it through ShipSaver, I think, and it's cheap. Um, but I have had one issue where I sent some little electronics. Like, it was the stupidest thing. I didn't even really like. I shouldn't have sold them in the first place, but I sold like 4 of them to the UK, and they got them, and they were complaining about the customs fees. And if I had done that through global shipping, that wouldn't have been a problem because the custom fees are up front. You know, that's why it's so expensive. I think the problem with global shipping is that each country it gives them like a flat price, and each country has their own customs fees. See what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, where it might cost them more to get, yeah.
Yeah. So I think in the future, if someone gets in the UK gets something from me and it's I don't know, I would let them know that they will have to pay some customs fees coming in, because anything over, I think, like $15 they have to pay on it. So I think I would just warn them.
Oh, maybe have it in the description or private message
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
private message them because it was, man, they were complaining. And then of course, like, they opened it and it didn't work. Of course,
Oh
even though it was a
no.
brand new item, they said it didn't work. So I just gave them a partial refund. Like, just go away, you know? You ever had those people where you're just like, just take money, you know?
Yeah, where it's like, okay, just get out of my face.
Ugh,
I
yeah.
felt bad. I did sell something from the UK. This was in the springtime. A lady bought like a wool jacket with a fur collar, and it was maybe like $40. It didn't go for much. I had it listed forever, and I took a best offer. I'm like, take it. I want it out of the house.
Right.
Maybe paid a couple bucks for it at a sale somewhere. And so I shipped it global shipping, and she sent me a message saying that she never got it, and that eBay was holding it, or something. It has something to do with for whatever reason they couldn't send it to her, and it might have had to do with the fur because it was a mink collar.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things I would have never thought of. And then later eBay sent me a message saying that they refunded the buyer and that I could still keep the sale, but they were keeping the item. So I
Right.
never got the item. She never got the item, but we both got our money. Weird.
Well, that worked out at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think with global shipping, I used to love it. But I think that I do get more international sales. I haven't gotten any lately because of COVID, but my international sales have increased. I don't have a specific percentage amount that I could tell you, but they have increased, and I've only had that one issue. So far, hopefully it stays like that. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. Yeah, I might try that eBay send, maybe just for like UK and Canada or something.
eBay send, yeah, do it. I was scared when I started doing my own international, but once I did, I was like, what was I afraid of? You know, yeah, definitely do it.
Cool.
Didn't you have a little doll one time that the buyer like tore up and sent back to you or something?
Yeah,
Like,
that was I think it
like
was,
literally a crazy person.
yeah, that guy was really nasty. So yeah, thank you for reminding me. So I sold like a little baby doll. I mean, it didn't sell for much, maybe $10. I
Yeah.
had a bunch of like a box of little dolls, and I thought, whatever, I'll put them online. I sold it, and he got mad because I'm trying to remember. I think it was made out of plastic, but I accidentally put it as some other material. But in the pictures, you could see it's a little plastic doll.
Right.
But I let him return it. But he was just like sending me all these nasty messages, and he sent it pretty much like he took a hammer to it and smashed it to smithereens. Like the box was rattling, and everything was in little plastic shards. And
Over like a doll that he paid like a couple bucks for.
yeah,
That sticks out in my memory because I think I was at work watching that video and I was like, what? Like, that's insane. I've never had someone. I've had some crazy buyers, but never anyone that insane yet. I'm sure it'll happen at some point. I mean, when you sell on eBay for so long, you get everything, right?
mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we'll wrap it up here. I think I talked
Okay.
about everything that I wanted to ask you. Thank you so much for coming on. If you don't mind, I'm gonna keep you on. I'm gonna end the broadcast, but I'm gonna keep you on and just talk to you for a couple minutes, and then I'll let you go. But So yeah, but thanks again for coming on, and I hope, yay, don't open it, don't even drop it. And
Ah,
thanks to the audience. I know I wasn't very, like, I was very into talking to Janet and not as much into the audience, but thank y'all for stopping by. I really do appreciate anybody coming by and pressing the like button. Thanks for commenting. And I know we have some people watching that aren't commenting as well. Thanks, all of you. Bye.
thank you guys. Bye bye. Thank you.